The new adaptation of The Running Man is now out. Let's talk about it.
Fuck is happening?
Welcome to The Running Man.
Alright, so as I said before, this is a new adaptation of Stephen King's novel, and it also counts as a remake to the Arnold Schwarzenegger version of The Running Man. And first impressions of this movie are that I really don't know how to feel about this one, because I went into it really loving those first trailers that they released for. I mean, the first teaser was excellent. The next trailer, I was like, this is really exciting. I'm really hyped to see this. And it's an Edgar Wright movie. So I'm like, I'm really hyped, man. I love Edgar Wright and his movies and his style that he chooses for his movies. But I was still on the fence because I didn't really like the Arnold version of this movie, and I haven't read the book, and I know that this movie was supposed to be more like the book, a real adaptation. And I will say I do like it more than the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and I'll probably have to read the book because I really like the tone of this movie. So if the tone of this movie is like the tone of the book, I feel like I'm gonna love the book. But I just don't know how to feel about it, because it has a lot of great things in it, but it also has a lot of stuff that's really making my rating go down a little bit more. Because during the movie I was like, I really enjoy this scene, and the next scene comes and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. It doesn't feel very great in my eyes. And then the movie ended and I'm like, that one left me a little confused on how I feel about it. But still, overall, I think right now I will say that I enjoyed it, but I didn't think that it was great. Something really weird about this one that I noticed while watching it is that it doesn't really feel like an Edgar Wright movie at all. I was going in really expecting that classic Edgar Wright style. You know, he does it for Baby Driver, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the Cornetto trilogy. His last movie, Last Night in Soho, had a lot of great stylistic choices that he put into it. But this one really didn't have much of it. By the end, I was like, did Edgar Wright really direct this? It doesn't feel like a movie that he'd make, because, his movies are very flashy with its style. This one does get flashy at some points, but it is very, very serious. And, I'm getting that's because the book is also very serious. And, Edgar Wright usually has a big soundtrack for his movies. Baby Driver, huge soundtrack. Scott Pilgrim, huge soundtrack. Last Night in Soho, less of a soundtrack, but still has a decent amount of songs. This one, I think it had like maybe 2 or 3 songs at most. So it honestly just lost me on those points. I was like, I wish there was more songs in this movie. You do get the one song from the first teaser trailer, which is pretty good during the intro. But other than that, I just felt like it was really monotone throughout most of the runtime because of how serious its story is. Because it is a very serious story about, a running man, a competition show about, a government that controls everything in this futuristic dystopian world. Government's looking at us through their TVs. The money currency is different. The jobs are hard to come by, and all the execs kind of control the world in this environment. So it is a very political movie, probably the most politically charged movie of the year, just under one battle after another. So I'm kind of understanding why it doesn't feel, like the other Edgar Wright movies, with the tone and all that kind of silly choices. So I kind of understand that now, but I do wish that a little bit more of Edgar Wright's style was in this one. I will say though, it has some great visuals. I like the color palette of this. Lots of reds, lots of whites in it too. Some great neon choices in some of the shots here. And the action sequences that are very minimal are shot very well. There's an action sequence kind of in an apartment, I would say, that was really well done. Very small action sequence though. Then an action sequence in a house with Michael Cera that I really enjoyed. That was a great one. And then one last action sequence, action set piece on a plane in the last 15 minutes, which I think was one of my favorite scenes of the movie, maybe my favorite scene. But man, for a movie called The Running Man and with such an exciting trailer, I really expected more action here. That was very disappointing to see. And even though it is a really serious movie, there are some nice comedic moments on here that actually got some pretty big laughs in my theater. There's a decent amount of very funny lines on here, especially because Glen Powell's character, Richards, is a very mad guy in this movie. So he says a lot of very funny things like, I'm going to smash your face and I'm going to smash these walls. And so I really enjoyed his character here. And on his character, I think Glen Powell just has another role where he's excellent. He proves why he's a movie star. This movie might not make a lot of the box office, But I mean, he has a lot of charisma still. He's a great actor. He sells the comedy excellently, and his serious moments in here are very, very believable. So, I don't think movie star these days, movie star back in the day is Tom Cruise and all those other people. They brought in a lot of box office. They were box office money. These days, movie star doesn't really mean box office because I think Timothy Chalamet is like the only movie star that kind of brings in box office nowadays. Just I think movie star just means you're a great actor, because box office is very hard to come by these days. It's hard to get box office for these types of movies, dystopian movies and other original movies. No, this one's not original, but I'm just saying blockbusters get the box office. Movie stars these days are not about box office, but I do think Glen Powell is a movie star because he is such a great all-around actor. Another negative for this movie is its pacing issues, because I enjoyed the first half of this movie. I thought that was its strongest point of when it's kind of in the practice realm of The Running Man, and Glen Powell is having his beef with Josh Brolin. That's like the best part about this movie. That's what I really enjoyed. Then the second half came, kind of the middle to the last third. It kind of slows down to a halt. I was like, can we pick it up a little bit, please? This is very slow for my liking. But then it picked it up in the last 15-20 minutes on the airplane scene, and I really enjoyed that. But in the middle, I thought it was just super slow. So overall, The Running Man was directed by Edgar Wright, but somehow it doesn't have any of his classic touch on it like how his other films do. I still think though that I enjoyed this one, but I didn't love it even though I really wanted to. The first half and the last 15 minutes are really strong, but the middle section really dragged this film down for me. Glen Powell, Josh Brolin, and Lee Pace are really excellent here, and I hope you enjoy this one more than me because my friend sure did, so give it a try. Glen Powell, Josh Brolin, and Lee Pace are really excellent here, and you might enjoy this movie more than me because all of my friends enjoy this movie a lot. I think it will please general audiences. With all that said and done, on first watch, I'm going to give The Running Man a 6.5 out of 10. If you did enjoy this review, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to this channel, as it is free to do so and it does help me out a lot. And if you also saw The Running Man, leave your own thoughts down below in the comments. I'd love to discuss it with you. But that's going to be it for this video. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.